Hello and welcome to another video. Now in this video I'm going to do a quick walk through the new MetaHuman creator from Epic Games. So I've finally been given access to it. I had to wait along with many others, and if you're still waiting then be patient. There's been some tweets on social media from various Epic people saying that they will get round to people, so just be a little bit patient and I'm sure you'll get your access. But I just wanted to do this video just to explore the creator itself, have a look at a few things and just give you some thoughts and first impressions on the overall experience. So first off, there's a couple of ways to go about this. I noticed you can go from Bridge. So you can log into Bridge, and I noticed that if you select a MetaHuman, you can actually then start the MetaHuman creator from here, and that will fire up the link, and you'll have to log in with your Epic ID that you provided. Or you could just simply go straight into the link and then choose any one of the presets you've got. So I'm going to choose this guy here. And my first impressions are basically the interface looks very clean. Once selected, I'm just going to click next, and this will take me into the main editor creator. And straight away notice it's playing this idle animation here by default. Just going to leave that running because it does actually look really cool. But let's just take a few glance around the user interface right now. It all looks very clean and easy to read. There's nothing that appears to be hidden away. I've gone full screen. I notice up here there's a little icon that appears, and that gives me an idea of basically the duration I've logged in for, frame rate, and all this kind of stuff as well. I don't know if this is true, but I reckon for this media server, this EU West, I wonder if that's a AWS server, but that's just me guessing there really. But once I've got this open, I can now change the name of my character up here. So I can just give it a name. I'm just going to call it new, just keep it nice and simple. There's a little question mark here that gives me some information about what to do and what's supported, so that's quite nice. So yeah, let's just dive in. Now we'll start with the main bit in the UI first. There's a slider here with the animation playing. I can stop and start that anytime, and if I stop it, it goes straight back to the default pose. If we look at this icon here, I can choose between a range of motion or the face, and if we play that, we go through like a stress testing, that's good to have that there as default, because when you start playing around with this thing, you're going to want to obviously test a few things out. So having this here is going to be certainly of benefit. There also appears to be one for the body as well. So if I play that, I can't really see that, but I guess I've got to change camera. Okay, so I'll pause that for a moment and we'll come back to that. Then we've got these modes here of blend, move, or sculpt. If we select those, we go into some different modes here. Right, okay, so I'm going to explore them in a minute. We'll come to that. I notice this panel here. Again, there's a little question mark up here, which gives me some ideas of how to make it work, and I'll just X that to close it. So that's all relatively straightforward, really. Now I'm inside this blend mode. If I was to go preview, I guess that would get me back out of it. Right, okay, that's good. So we've got a hotkey reference here. That looks fine. Focus point, right mouse click. So if I click anywhere, it will go to wherever my cursor is. So that looks straightforward. If I hold down the mouse key. Okay, so we're back again, and the reason why I just had to stop the recording there and restart again is because I got dropped out of the editor, and I wasn't really 100% sure why. But what I've done, and when I've gone back in, it's recognised the session I was in, and I just had to close the browser and restart again, and I can go back into my character. And I'm not sure why that was, but I think it might have been when I was doing the mouse click on the right mouse click hold for orbit, and I had it full screen, and I don't know if it kind of forgot I was in the browser or outside the browser, and it just seemed to look like I was trying to do a refresh. So I'm not sure why that is. Perhaps maybe a slight glitch there in the user experience, maybe. Don't know, but just worth noticing. Just be a little bit careful when you're starting to click around a bit. Because again, I'm holding down the right mouse button now, and nothing's actually happening. And then all of a sudden it sticks, and then all of a sudden I'm moving again. So yeah, Epic just maybe want to do something there. But again, just a bit of user feedback. If I hold the Alt mouse, middle mouse button, I can pan around, so that's fine. So anyway, just be mindful of that, I think, if you're going to be using this. Anyway, we can go through the rest. I'm not going to go through all of these. These are really self-explanatory hotkeys here. We can toggle that on and off as well up here with this reference, so it's always good. But it doesn't take up too much space at all, and I think it's always handy to have it there, really. If we look on the upper left of the main viewport, we've got these controls up here. We can control cameras here, and that's the same using the number pad as well. We can control the render quality as well. At the moment it's set to medium, which still looks pretty good. But again, if we went to a ray traced, see a slight difference there, and take it to Epic ray traced. Couldn't really see much of a difference there. Might be more noticeable on other characters maybe, but anyway, we can look at the different levels of detail, so we can go to all of them. Interesting there, but always use hair cards. If we hover over that, we've got a little pop-up which gives us an idea about a card-based grooms instead of strand-based grooms. Can only be toggled for LOD 0 and 1. LODs, lower LODs will always be using cards. So that would make sense, because once you start getting to the lower levels, you're not going to want to use strands. They're just going to be just going to be too heavy. So that's, you know, self-explanatory. We've then got a toggle grey material. This is really handy. So if anybody has worked on characters before in any kind of pipeline, having this grayscale override is really useful when looking at this detail here in the skin, in the normal map, the bump map, displacement, and the cavity maps. Because if you have it turned off, you can't really see the detail other than lighting, and really you want to have it neutralized so you can really begin to look about what details are there where you want it to. So I think this is, again, a very useful feature to have. I'm sure that Epic have taken in feedback from some high-end users about that as well, so that's good to see. And we can hide the hair as well. So this guy's got quite a crop in it. I'm just going to use the mouse wheel to zoom out. Okay, that'll make him like a skinhead, and also it uses his loses his stubble as well. So okay, that's fairly good. So anyway, despite my little early glitches, this is really kind of easy to navigate around. You know, it's fairly clear. So let's now start looking at the controls. Oh, there's one thing I forgot as well. We can change the environment. So this is the studio environment. We can choose indoor, and that makes a big difference. We can choose outdoor. That's really good. This is where the ray tracing comes in, I think, most definitely. And we can choose a silhouette, which might not be useful to some of you, but I think this is definitely useful if you're dealing with different hair shapes and also want to see what your character looks like in certain lighting as well. So again, it's not to be overlooked, this particular viewing mode. Anyway, so we've got that. Let's now look at their main controls. So we've got three main sections: face, hair, and body. So that kind of makes sense. We start with the face. So we've got blend, and if we click this, this will bring back this option box here, and it's grayed out, and there's a warning here to stop the animation to enable this panel. And as soon as you do that, it becomes active. Again, if we hover over the little question mark, gives us some pointers as to how to use this. And really what you do, you drag and drop any one of the presets here into these three circles, and we can blend between them. So if we want to, let's get this guy here, put him into there, maybe take him and take someone else a bit more extreme, scroll down a bit, take that guy. And okay, we can we can move him around, I guess, to any one of these different corners. Although I'm not sure what difference is that going to make. But and now if we go over to the face, we've got these points here, and if we click on any one of those, we get the same 3 points that are here in the blend module. So again, we can control the blend between it. So if I'm going to go to this here in the lower right there, that's going to be blending between this guy here. So that makes sense. If we choose this guy, we're going to blend between the guy in the lower left, and then we go here to the top, and then we can control the blend between them as well. So that's some interesting controls there. We've got, you know, you could really introduce some very, very small differences in there depending on which presets you're going to choose. And that'll be the same wherever you go. So we can go through the rest of the parts of the face. So of course you get some really interesting results here. But this really gives you, I wonder if actually, if you do that, and then if you change this guy, right, so you lose the preset. Okay, so you can't then make a change, it remembers that change and then go with another preset. So once you've got these things, you've got to stay with them. But it remembers your, okay, so that makes sense. So again, I just replaced that, but it remembered where the blend was, and all I've done is just changed out the preset. So that kind of makes sense. So we can go through all the others now and start playing around with this. So this will give you basically the chance to blend between different types of faces. And again, you can go from different extremes, I guess, whichever you might want to choose similar looking people or go for complete polar opposites if you want. I guess, I mean, you could introduce a female in here. That wouldn't be any problem at all. Okay. Let's bring another guy there. Okay, so that makes sense. So that's the blend bit. Now, before I go on to the skin and the rest of it, let's look at the move button down here in the sculpt, because they seem to be, I don't know why they're here and not up there, because if you've got the blend there and you've got there, so really you wouldn't want to have that all together. That's just my variation on that. Or why have the blend there and there? You'll be better off keeping it together. So that's just a little bit of a confusion. It's not, I can kind of work it out, but I'm just saying that's a observation on my part. It just seems a little bit odd to have two different things in two different places. So let's choose move. Okay, so this is now giving me a few key lines on the face, and they seem to be in certain points. So if I was to hover over there, I can select these, and I can move things up. So again, I'm just moving the mouse up and then to the right and then to the left and then down. And I can start to really tweak my characters there, and then the upper eye a little bit, and then the lower. Again, move the mouse left or right, and the same for the ears. I can make them pop out. I mean, you can twist it around, but you can't really go too much beyond the realms of believability. And I'm not sure you want to, because this is a meta-human creator. It's not a fantasy character creator. And, you know, part of the point is to create a believable human. So having the ability to go beyond that, I think, would really kind of counterproduct it. Select sculpting plane. Green plane, not sure what that does. I'll turn off. Oh, okay. Turn off. Oh, I get it. Turn off symmetry. So again, you can do what? Oh, I see. That's very interesting, because human faces are not symmetrical, and people will think, well, that's not right. But again, there's lots of experimentation. If you go online, and there's people where they've done tests, they've taken pictures of people and then mirrored them symmetrically, and they look really quite odd. They don't look as they normally would. So having that option there, I think, is brilliant. That's a really nice touch there by Epic, I think, having that. And again, you can name left to right, right, and then average it out. So, okay, that's good. That's a really nice touch. That is a really, really nice touch. I think very often overlooked as part of the creation process. So it's good to see that in there. So anyway, I'm not going to go through all of this. My own little gripe here is that I'm hovering over these lines, but it's a very faint. I don't know if it's maybe my screen or the browser. I can barely see there's a slight highlight there. So again, bit of user experience. Could that be a little bit more prominent there so I can absolutely see what I'm clicking on? Just again, I'm nitpicking really, but that's just my observation there. But anyway, so that's the lines, and then the sculpting. So there's lots more controls here, and I guess these will give me a lot more granular control to start really doing like little nudges around the face and the head to really change things. And again, I can only push it so far. You know, I can't take this and push the eyes out so far. I've only got a certain realm of control there, again, just to stop me going too crazy with it. But I can start introducing very small little nuances, which is great. That's, I guess, kind of really what you want to do. It's the small touches. And being able to create slight imperfections as well, I think, is key to any human to make it look believable, because we're not perfect. And I think sometimes people, when they do characters, they often make them perfect. But for me, anyway, having those imperfections are what sells it. Okay, so that's the, then we go to previewing. So that's the modeling. So that's that. One thing I did notice, there's not a before and after. So it'd be, I don't know if it was possible that you want to be able to toggle to say, well, what did this look like before I did it? So I don't know if that would be possible at some point in the future. Again, I'm really nitpicking here. It doesn't bother me right now, but I think sometimes that would be a useful feature. Anyway, so let's move on to the rest of it. So now we've got to the skin, eyes, teeth, and makeup. So the skin wise, so I guess this is where we start just in the color texture. And I see. Oh, so we've got like an age filter there. And that's actually very impressive. Being able to age it almost straight away. Boost the contrast. And this is where the grayscale really comes in. You can really see those details there as well, and really start to examine whether or not you like it or not. Let's turn that back on and change the roughness. Very small little. Oh, okay, yeah. So, but I tell one thing, it's fantastic quality once you get into here. I mean, these little kind of highlights on the skin are just amazing. So that looks very impressive. Okay, so let's dial him down a bit. It's not making him look too old. So yeah, you can add freckles and really go to town on it. There's only 3 presets, but then again, you can control the density. So yeah, so you can just increase it a little bit. And again, I think this is really what sells a character, having those imperfections. And I think this is where, with the right input, you can really create something very, very believable as well. Okay, I'm not going to do too much there, really. And then you've got accents here. So what does this do? Oh, so this will be looking at maybe the color tones of the face, maybe a little redness there, and also on the forehead in particular. So yeah, this is I'm very impressed with these controllers. They're very clean and easy to use. You've got numerical values. You can do little kind of small adjustments there as well, just reset them back to what they were before. So yeah, I think overall the usability is pretty good. So let's go to the eyes. Okay, there's some presets here we can choose. Click between them. And we got the iris and sclera. Wow, so you can really go quite deep with this. There's an awful lot of controls here. So we've got to zoom in wow, you can really start going into the details of the iris here. Um, and you might argue that you're never going to see this detail, but again, depending on what your output is, you may want to go to this level of detail. You may want to have these options here. There's 9 presets here, but I think they cover most things really. And again, we can start to control the color balance of the eye. Wow, there's some really very fine control here. You can go a bit crazy on this actually. Smooth that out, the iris size. So yeah, there's a lot of control here. There's a lot of control. And again, you can do it both independently, left and right. So again, it just introduces those slight differences again, which really make us human. And on the sclera, so you can really go in here and actually just zoom in a bit. Wow, you can even start to add, again, the little glitches on the viewport. This small bit here on the vascularity, and really even rotate them as well. So that's impressive to go to this level of detail. And again, you might thinking, well, I'm never really going to need it. But again, having it there, again, covers all the different options for people who want to get into this. So that's very impressive. So if we look at teeth now, so wow, there's a lot of controls here. So we can adjust upper shift, tooth length. And again, there's a lot of control here. I wonder how many people even ever done that's a bit freaky. I wonder how many people have actually ever done this when they've come to doing their characters. They've probably never gone to this level of detail on doing their character's teeth. They probably thought, well, I'm never going to use it. Placa mount. So he needs to brush his teeth a bit more there. And you can even stress test it a little bit as well. There's an awful lot of control here. There is really, whether or not you would ever go to this level or not, I don't know, but I'm sure there's some people who will do, and that's going to be the difference between the high quality characters. You've got tooth length. What else have we got? Receding gums, slightly older character maybe. That would work. I'm very impressed with the level of detail here. That's mad, frankly. Okay, let's close his jaw. And then we can go, there's makeup. So obviously lips, you may want to adjust it there maybe. There's some presets here. I'm not really going to mess around with this. Okay, that makes sense. I mean, that's probably enough for most people. But again, if you're going to do this and then output it, it will probably generate the maps for you. And then you may want to go in there yourself and start to change it. So I think that really gives you, you can do it here if you want to. So now if we go to hair, so we've got all these presets. So there's some warnings here, and some of them saying that the asset is currently in development and will only be displayed on LOD 0 and 1. Okay, that's the highest res details. And again, we can start to just really don't like this clicking on the middle mouse. I don't know if I'm doing it wrong, but this pop-up keeps coming up here. It really does annoy me. But again, slight usability could be my problem. I guess we just select any one of these and it will start to apply the preset. Okay. And we can also do that on the animation as well. Oh. So we just start going around all the presets and adding them now. Although you can only just do roughness and that. So you can't really, there's no grooming tools in here by the looks of it, which, you know what, it's understandable because that's a whole different tool set altogether. Really, if you want to get into the realms of that, that's quite a complex thing to do on top of what's already here. So, you know, some people might be disappointed in that. I'm willing to cut Epic some slack on that, really, because this thing is already pretty good. So I guess what you could do, if you wanted to, you could develop your character, give them a kind of haircut here, and then take it into another package and do the groom yourself if you want to. So again, and I think having that flexibility just is I think a lot more um, just makes a lot more sense at this moment in time. I think personally. Okay, so we can go to eyebrows now. There's 9 presets here, so again they're going to change them and they'll just jump between them. So that's all relatively straightforward. Eyelashes. Wow, there's so much control here. There's only 5, 6, 7 presets depending on what you choose, but there's still quite a lot. And I guess beard is going to be the same, yeah, as the hair. So you've only got limited functionality in terms of grooming, but you can still give your character a little bit more if you want. And again, there's only 9 presets here, but I'm sure at some point they'll start to be expanded out, and maybe, don't know, hypothetical, just a guess here, could you monetize it and people start adding their own, or would Epic say, well, we'll give you 9 and then the rest of it you pay extra for? I've got no idea whether that's going to happen. That's just me thinking out loud. And then for the mustache as well, again, yeah, so okay, you can give some basic controls here. That makes sense. And then for the body, oh, what's that custom settings there? Oh, okay, just a color picker. Okay, fine. So for the body, we can just choose a simple body type. So short, average, tall. Right, okay, that moves between them. Go for average. So we can just add a little bit more weight to, or take it away. Might have to watch the. It's weird that you do that, but it seems the head doesn't change. You might have to. I'm changing the body type, but the head doesn't change. So that's. I don't know if that's intentional or not, but when you go really thin, the head then starts looking a little bit out of proportion. So I don't know if that's going to be adjusted. It'd be good if that automatically changed according to the body, because there's going to be a slight difference. Although whether or not that's been left off intentionally, I got no idea. Right, so we've got some change in our tops. So there's only 3 presets here to begin with. So again, that looks reasonable, and change the colours. And for the bottoms, and then for the shoes, no doubt. Okay, so again, I'm sure this will be expanded out, or again, thinking out loud, I could see how this could be populated with assets from the marketplace on the Epic Store. So if people want to start creating their own, you could monetize this. There's certainly potential there, I think, personally. Again, I don't work for Epic or anything like that. I don't know if that's what they're going to do, but I can certainly see how that could happen. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Okay, so I'm gonna leave that character. Actually, no, his body type is all wrong. It's just not quite right. Let's just get back to normal. Okay, so then that's my character. Let's get back to face camera. So yeah, that's just me tinkering around. Apologies if I've rambled a bit, but I'm learning at the same time as you are, really. So but yeah, this is incredibly impressive. It really is, and it all runs through the browser, which is amazing. So it's completely agnostic in terms of hardware. People don't need to upgrade everything in order to run it, which I think is a real big bonus. It really lowers the barrier of entry for many people. I'm impressed with the range of controls here. Even though there's some presets and you've got limited range, it's very, very powerful, and you can really take a base character and really change it with some very small strokes here and there. So I'm very impressed with the levels of control and what you can do with them. I don't know if people may want to go beyond and go, well, I really want to do fancy characters or go beyond just humanoids, but that's a big ask, really, because this technology is not easy to create, and there's been numerous character creators done by various people over the years, and they're all very good, but I think this is probably taking it to a whole new level, I think, personally speaking, and it'll be very interesting to see what happens from here. And I think what's going to be very encouraging is that this will I think, lower the barrier of entry for many people who want to do this, who otherwise would have been restricted because they would have had to invest in more people, more technology, maybe proprietary technology. Um, you could easily develop a character which would be, I think, very good or easily good enough for TV or even feature film work as well. And otherwise, that would take a lot of time. You know, if you read up about some of the visual effects here and the digital doubles they do, they spend months developing them to a level of this detail, and now you can do it literally within 60 minutes, which is incredibly impressive. So yeah, I think this is going to be quite a game changer, and it will allow people who otherwise wouldn't have been able to do that work to be able to do this work. So yeah, so this is my first impressions. I think overall I'm very impressed with what I've seen so far, and you know, I'm really excited to see where this technology is going to go in the future. One thing I noticed was that there wasn't anything about, well, okay, I've got my character, what do I do with it? And I noticed here in the upper right corner it says all changes saved. So it's been saving my stuff as I go along. And I thought, well, okay, where's my characters? So if I stop this for a moment and just go back to my metahumans there, this will take me back out into the front end browser, and I've got my presets. So this is another character I was playing around with earlier on. So that's all there. But then I noticed if you go into Quicksil's Bridge, if you go back to metahumans in the presets, there's now my metahumans. And now in the background, my character has now appeared here in Quixel Bridge. So this is how you access it. So this is fantastic. So there's no export. There's no export from the actual web-based browser. It all goes into Bridge because it's all tied in with your Epic ID. And of course, once I've got this, again, I can choose to download it. So I can look at my download settings, choose all the different maps I want as well, choose the models. I've got the FBX asset, the U asset, and the source asset as well, which is really, really good. Choose all the extra bits I may or may not want, including all the textures as well. There's a lot here. This is very impressive. And then choose my export. And again, I can choose 1K, 2K resolution. And then on my export settings, I've got the option here. I can drop it straight into Unreal. If I choose a default project, it'll plug it straight into that. Again, choose the textures, models, file names. And again, I can even change the target. I can put it into Maya. So if you've watched my other video, I show you how you can do that with one of the presets, but now do it with your own creation itself. So yeah, that's it. So that's my first introduction or first investigation into MetaHuman Creator. I hope that was useful to any of you. If you've got your access, then great. Congratulations. Welcome aboard, and yeah, have fun with it. I'm really keen to see what people are doing out there. I'd really recommend you have a look around. There's some fantastic stuff being done by people already. So yeah, I'll post a few links into the description below just to highlight some stuff that I've noticed already. So good luck with it, and thanks for watching.